Solana's blockchain crashed. It just stopped processing transactions, and the weird thing is, many people are saying this is actually a good thing, and we didn't really see much negative reactions in terms of the price. In today's video, we're going to talk about everything you need to know about this crash with Solana's network, and we're going to talk about why many people are saying it is actually a positive thing for Solana moving forward. If you guys enjoy this sort of content, well then please be sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel, turn on the bell notifications. Also, if you want additional content, make sure to check out our Patreon group using the link down below. I opened up an additional 5 spots. You'll get access to the $700,000 portfolio on Robinhood, $200,000 portfolio on Webull, and the trades I make in there as well. Anyways, right now the entire crypto market is sitting at $2.15 trillion market cap, and we are seeing a lot of positive movements in the market. One of the biggest things that is happening is the golden cross with Bitcoin's daily chart. Historically, when we see a golden cross, well, that is where the 50-day moving average, which is this blue line, crosses above the 200-day moving average, which is the orange line. Historically, when we see this happens, it sets us up for a massive rally with crypto, all of crypto. Last time we saw it happen, we saw a 600% rally for crypto, and this time, things are looking very optimistic as well. For this reason, I think, and many top analysts believe, that we are going to reach all-time highs later this year. So we'll keep an eye out on this golden cross. Next up, let's talk about Solana, because on September 14th, 2021, Solana, it completely crashed. Their blockchain just stopped processing transactions, and at 8:38 a.m. on September 14th, the team for Solana came out on Twitter and said that Solana mainnet beta is experiencing intermittent instability. This began approximately 45 minutes ago, and engineers were investigating the issue. They go on to say that what happened was there was a large increase in transaction load, which peaked at 400,000 transactions per second. These transactions flooded the transaction processing queue and basically caused the network to crash. Before we dive into exactly what this means and a couple of details, I want to talk quickly about Solana, because yes, we have the issue established, but many people forget that Solana is an extremely new project. Solana's first ever white paper was established in 2017, and its first ever testnet was rolled out in 2018. So it's been around a much shorter period of time than Bitcoin, and then Ethereum, then Cardano, and many other projects out there. Not only that, but Solana's first ever mainnet beta was launched in March of 2020. So they are still a very early project, and while something like this and the entire system crashing is not ideal, it shouldn't be something that is out of the realm of possibilities when you're talking about a new project. They're always starting to identify issues in the code, make upgrades, and that is why Solana is still in a mainnet beta. It is not like fully rolled out. It's still in a mainnet beta because it's only been around for a couple of years. For example, Ethereum has been around since July of 2015. So we just got to keep that in mind, keep that in the back of our head when we're talking about the crash with Solana. That, remember, mainnet beta has only been around since 2020. First ever white paper was established in 2017. So it has not been around for even 5 years. But anyways, back to what happened with Solana. So according to Anatoly, who is one of the founders of Solana, he came out and said that, simple language, what happened is that bots during a Radium IDO were flooding the network at 300 transactions per second. The queues that forward transactions to block producers grew in size to a point that caused excessive forking. So basically what happened, there were too many transactions per second taking place on Solana's ecosystem. And some people may say, well, that means Solana isn't efficient. Solana's whole goal is that it should be able to solve scalability issues, process more transactions per second than Ethereum, than Cardano, and every other project out there. But that's not really the case, because Solana, the way that they had tested their system, the way that they had originally designed it, was that it would be able to have a theoretical peak capacity of 65,000 transactions per second. 65,000 transactions per second was the theoretical peak capacity for Solana. And in terms of like how fast is that actually? Well, that is 10,000 times faster than Bitcoin, 4,000 times faster than Ethereum, 35 times faster than Ripple, and 2.5 times faster than Visa. So their theoretical goal was 65,000 transactions per second. and that was going to be faster than Visa, faster than Ethereum, faster than Bitcoin. And like Visa is like the peak. It is like used as the ideal when talking about transactions per second. So when they had said the theoretical capacity was 65,000 per second, 65,000 transactions per second, it makes sense that 400,000 transactions per second would overload the system and cause it to crash. No one would have expected 400,000 transactions per second to be taking place. Visa couldn't have handled it. Ethereum couldn't have handled it. Bitcoin couldn't have handled it. And so that is the main reason why we saw the entire Solana blockchain just stop processing transactions. They were overloaded with over 400,000, and no one could have prepared for that. Visa wouldn't have been able to handle it. Ethereum couldn't have handled it. Nothing. And so that is why ultimately we saw Solana's entire ecosystem just crash. The entire blockchain stopped process transactions. One thing I want to talk about, though, is with Solana that it was a result of like an issue in their code. They said that they had something to fix this in the next release for a while, but it still was a result of an issue in their code. Now, the good thing is that Solana came out and said that things are back up and running. Things are, they had a successful restart of mainnet beta after an upgrade to 1.6.25. They said that dApps, block explorers, supporting systems and everything will reboot pretty soon after. So things are better now. Why it happened was that 400,000 transactions per second were taking place. No one expected that would have happened. They had tested their system for 65,000 transactions per second. And even though it was a result of something wrong with their code, they have it fixed. Things are better now. So let's talk about why are people saying this is good? Why are people saying this is bad? And what I think about it. So with this issue with Solana, many analysts are actually saying it's a good thing that they're not upset with what happened, and that makes them actually more optimistic about Solana in the future. So a couple of analysts came out and said that they saw the events that took place on Solana as a sign that the overall community for Solana is very, very strong. Because when we saw all of this drama come out and we saw Solana's blockchain stop processing transactions, the price really didn't move much. So many top analysts are saying that this shows us how strong people believe in Solana, that even when something like that happens, they're not worried. People didn't overreact or really start selling everything off in a scare. So that's the first thing. Another thing that, let's say, Nick Spanos, the co-founder of Zap Protocol, said, he said that while the outage was a big factor is a big factor moving forward, that one thing that he likes is that Solana's long-term potential has not been affected, and that Ethereum in their early years also experienced similar issues that have largely been corrected as well. So what other people are saying is that, look, while it wasn't great, at least now we're seeing that they're getting a lot of these bugs out of the system, and they're continuing to make upgrades to the system, much like Ethereum and every other crypto has done in the past. So that's the second thing. And then the third reason why I personally think this was something pretty good and, not terrible with Solana is with regards to the number of transactions per second. There were 400,000 transactions per second taking place on Solana's blockchain before it crashed. They had only tested and only thought the theoretical capacity was going to be 65,000. So if they only crashed at 400,000 transactions per second, that makes me much more optimistic about Solana in the future, because it says, look, they're faster than they thought. Like the blockchain is faster than they thought it would be. It's able to handle more transactions per second than they thought it would have been able to. And when we're talking about scalability years down the road, it makes it that Solana is a much more ideal candidate over Ethereum, over Cardano, and over other DeFi projects, because that's been Solana's main goal, is scalability, cheap transaction fees. And now with this issue, it shows us that they're able to handle more transactions than they originally thought. So those are the positives. The negatives with this is that we never like to see a complete crash and have to restart the entire blockchain. That is not a good sign at all. Not a good sign, and we can't sugarcoat that. We don't like to see that. Second thing is with the reason that this happened is now it brings up concerns is this going to happen again in the future? How fast are they able to solve the issue? That's another concern. Me personally, I think that they solved the issue fairly quickly. Less than 24 hours, it was back up and running, but still it brings up the question, is this going to happen again? Or is this just like a one-time thing? So those are the positives, those are the negatives. Overall, I am still very optimistic about Solana. I think what happened shows us that Solana is able to process more transactions per second than they originally thought. I think it shows us how strong the team is and how fast they're able to solve issues. And I also think it shows us how strong the community is, because people in the community just didn't go off and sell their entire positions when this came out. They held their positions and we didn't really see much reactions with the price. So anyways, that's what's going on with Solana. That's why I think what happened actually isn't so bad. And let me know what you guys think in the comments. Hope you guys enjoyed today's video. If you did, please be sure to like, subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next episode. See you guys.